So HTTP2 is the next generation or iteration of HTTP. We've learned about TCP and how on TCP we have built HTTP. And now we'll talk about HTTP2, the second generation of HTTP. So it's important to understand why this iteration happened in the first place. So we wanted to make web communications faster. With HTTP, the communication was slow. We also wanted to make it more efficient and more robust. What's also important to understand is that HTTP2 is backward compatible. That means URLs, methods, status codes, everything remains the same. So it's not like that someone is using HTTP2, they won't be able to use HTTP1 features. HTTP2 only changes how the data moves over the wire. If you look at this diagram, this reveals a lot of things. So in HTTP1, what used to happen was the client used to make a request and the server used to send back something. The client used to make a request again, and the server used to reply. So it was just a request and response method. With HTTP2, it's still request and response, but we introduce something called as multiplexing, where over the same connection, we can have multiple streams. So just one TCP connection, you can have multiple streams of request and responses, and each stream carries a request and response pair. And streams can be reassembled and interleaved by IDs. So there's no blocking of the processes. Now, HTTP2 also encodes data in binary frame, and we've already seen what encoding is in a previous video in this series. So this makes it more compact and easier for computers to parse via text space, which was HTTP1 was text space. The other thing that we do with HTTP2 is we compress the header. We use something called as the HPAC algorithm, and this compresses repetitive headers like cookies and user agents. This reduces the bytes on the wire, making it more efficient to communicate using HTTP2. So I just mentioned that we introduce streams and multiplexing, but you can also prioritize those streams to tell the browser which streams are more important. This helps with smarter bandwidth usage. With HTTP2, we also give server the freedom to push. So the server can push related resources before client even requests them. And this reduces round trips. That means the client does not have to specifically keep asking for information every single time. So a quick summary is that HTTP2 modernizes HTTP by multiplexing many requests on one connection, compressing the headers and enabling server push, resulting in faster, more efficient web communication. Now in the next video, we're going to look at gRPC, which uses HTTP2. But for now, you just need to understand that gRPC is another way of communicating between client and server, which uses HTTP2, which actually benefits a lot from HTTP2 because it can multiplex and stream remote procedure calls. Now, if you don't know anything about remote procedure calls, not a problem. We'll be looking at that in the next video. So HTTP2 is used by modern browsers like Chrome, Firefox, and Edge for faster page loads. CDNs, which stand for Content Delivery Networks, which we are yet to see in one of the future videos, and APIs leverage this for high performance delivery. So I wanted to share something really interesting with you. A few months back, I started running an advanced system design cohort, which is specifically meant for people with industry experience who want to break into engineering leadership positions. So if you want to be a director of engineering, VP of engineering, or want a CXO title, you'd want to know a lot more about system design from the application perspective. And just the basics of system design, DSA, and coding will not cut it. You'll need to understand systems from end to end. You'll need to become an expert at architecting systems, understanding how things scale, and how to plan better for bigger, much more scalable products. And this is what we break down in my 3-month advanced system design cohort. There are 20 people already in the cohort. Some of them even have 25 years of experience in the industry. So if you think you've hit the limit in your system design learning and you want to take things to the next level and deeply connect with people who are just like you, people with great industry experience and exposure, wanting to move on to the leadership positions, you might want to check out my cohort. The link for the form is in the description of this video. Fill it up, we'll check if you're a good fit, and then we'll set up a call with you, and then we'll take things forward. Now let's get back to the video. So if you look at HTTP1 versus HTTP2, so HTTP1 had head of line blocking. So one slow resource blocks others on the same TCP connection, whereas with HTTP2, we had multiplexing, multiple requests and responses in parallel on the same connection. So it just becomes more efficient. With HTTP1, you required multiple connections. So browsers open multiple TCP connections to get concurrency. Whereas with HTTP2, you have single connection. You can multiplex streams with a single TCP link. With HTTP1, we had more header overhead where repeated headers loaded every request, but now we started compressing them. And this is why we had header compression, which used HPAC algorithm, which we've just seen, compresses redundant header. In HTTP1, the client had to actively make requests. The server could not proactively push things to the client. Whereas with HTTP2, servers can now push data to the client if it knows that it requires it. So now we know that with HTTP2, interactions on the internet became very efficient because we had all of these new awesome features. Now in the next video, we'll look at gRPC and how it uses HTTP2 to actually make client and server communication much smoother and faster and more efficient.